Hello everyone, today I'm here to talk about A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the second book in the Ember in the Ashes series, and yeah, let's talk about it. So like I said, this is the second book, so the first one is obviously the Ember in the Ashes, and little known fact, or probably a well-known fact, not a little known fact by any means, is this was meant to be a standalone, and I didn't know that when I first read it last year. I finished it and I was like, ooh, when's the second book coming out? Because it kind of left on a cliffhanger, and then I learned that it was going to be a standalone. I was like, what? Like, why? Why? You can't leave that on a cliffhanger. You can't leave me hanging, literally. So the author decided to write more, and now it's going to be a series. I don't know how many books are going to be in this. Maybe 4 or 5? What is that? I don't know. But either way, I'm pretty excited she extended on with this series because it is an amazing series. The first book is amazing. So I was pretty excited that I got sent the arc for it a couple weeks ahead of its release date. So I'm going to talk about it with you guys. So obviously, if you haven't read Ember in the Ashes, probably don't watch this video because I don't want to spoil this for you. I'll try to keep some spoilers away from this video, but I'll let you know when I do spoil this book really in particular. Ember in the Ashes is about, there's this empire, and this takes place from 2 point of views, one from Leia, and I probably pronounced her name wrong, I apologize, and another one from Elias. Elias is one of the school's finest soldiers of the Empire, studying and hoping to become like one of the Black Guard, and it is very, very brutal. It's reminiscent to the Roman Empire, how it's very, very harsh and very strict and just really downright scary. So we have that going on. We have Leia, who is kind of on the outskirts of the Empire, but her grandparents get killed, and then her brother gets taken away, so she goes undercover with the Resistance to try to save her brother. She becomes a spy for exchange for the Resistance helping to find her brother. It's definitely a very dark book because, like I said, it's got a nod to the Roman Empire, which is very brutal, very scary, so just be warned going into that. But overall, I thought this book was amazing. It's got, like a lot of the Empire stuff. It's got a lot of almost kind of paranormal stuff with, wraiths, however how you say it, and other paranormal type of things. But I really love this book. I thought it was amazing. It's a chunker of a book, that is for sure, but you will fly through it. So I was really excited when The Torch Against the Night released, and I had to read it immediately, and I will say I really liked it. I didn't love it as much as the first book. I find that a lot with the second books. I kind of get into that. I don't know if it's just me or if it's just with everybody. I wouldn't say this book had a second book slump by any means, but I felt like it was a little bit less of love for me than the first book, and that's just my opinion, so just know that, because a lot of people love this book and I think that's awesome, as they should, but for me personally, I just didn't love it as much as I wanted to. It pretty much takes place right after the final events of Ember in the Ashes, so Leia fleeing the Empire, they're going in search for her brother Darius to this prison, and it's all about their adventure. So the majority of this book is traveling, which sometimes translates to really good books, sometimes I don't know. I like traveling aspects, but I feel like if I get too much of it, I get sick of it really fast, and I felt like that was the case in this book. There's a lot of traveling for us to get to our final destination, and it took pretty much the whole book to get there, which I get, but I just wanted a little bit more. I will say this definitely was action-packed. It definitely had a lot of different fights and a lot of different confrontations and other various things that I did really enjoy, but I still felt the pacing was somewhat kind of slow. Like, not excruciating slow, but not as fast as I wanted it to go. Talk about the characters. In the first book, we just got Lai and Elias' point of view, but in this one, we got Helene's point of view added to it, which I loved. Helene was easily one of my favorite characters in the first book, and I really liked her, so getting her point of view really added to this book, which made me really like it a lot more. So happy that Helene's point of view got added, because she's got a different whole venture, because I think if we just would have had Laia's and Elias' point of view, because they're together pretty much the whole time, it kind of would have gotten muddled and kind of like the same thing. So we have Helene, who's on a completely different spectrum and place from them, so we get a whole different point of view from a different area and different way. So I was really excited to read her point of view. As far as characters of who I liked and really didn't like, Leia, I don't like her. I think that's just it. The first book, I kind of liked her, but I just wasn't in love with her, and I think I really was waiting for the second book to figure out my relationship with her. If I liked her, if I loved her, if I was just okay with her, and I feel like I'm just okay with her. I think she is a well-written character. I just feel like I just don't connect well with her. I don't know. I don't like her. I think a lot of it's to do with the love triangle, hexagon, whatever the crap it is thing, but it's also just because I don't love her. I don't know. Now Elias, on the other hand, he's amazing. I love him. He stayed completely within character this whole book. He's such a strong and amazing character, and there would be points where I'm like, really? Leia? Why? like, Elias, why are you dating this girl? Like, why? Don't love her. I don't know why you would, I don't know. But I just felt like that. I don't know. I love Elias. I think he's an amazing written character, has great heart, great sense of mind. He's just an amazing overall to me. And Helene is just my girl. She is my favorite character. She's just an amazing character. She's very strong, but she is, you know, after all this stuff, the Empire and training to become mask, you think it would go, her heart would be completely cold, but she's got a really big heart, and you see in this book how much she has to struggle with that and how much she has to like fight her own heart, and it was really heartbreaking to read about Helene. But I really loved her at the end of it, but I feel like she's trying to even mask her heart even more. But I really love Helene. I think she's the star of this book, and I think she's just an amazing character overall. And yeah, those are our three main characters. As far as like the love triangle thing I was talking about, it's just it's complicated. So in the first book we had Laia, who definitely was crushing on Elias, and Elias is definitely crushing on Laia. But Helene is definitely in love with Elias. And Elias maybe has some feelings for Helene, but he isn't sure because he thinks he's like Laia. And then we have Kenan, I don't know his name, definitely feeling Lila, and Lila's kind of feeling him, but she's also kind of feeling Elias. Can you keep up? No? Because I can't either. It just, why? I'm not a fan of love triangles in general. I mean, a love square or hexagon or octagon, whatever, I don't like even further. So it's just hard to keep up with. And we have Laia, who's just kind of like, oh, don't like him, he likes this, like that. I don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. We're in a freaking war here. We need to go find your brother, get him out of this prison. He knows these secrets. We don't have time to play these stupid love games. I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. I don't mind a little bit of romance in my fantasy, but not when it's like a love square. I don't like that. So that was, I think, one of the main things I didn't like about this book, because it just got real interesting. And of course, by the end of it, the love square thing is definitely, it's all healed up for sure. We don't have one anymore, but just the majority of this book was definitely a love hexagon triangle. It's not a triangle because it's got a lot of characters involved. It's got like 5, so we'll call it a love square. But the majority of the book had that love square that I just wasn't really feeling. So overall, like I said, I did really enjoy this book. There was just a couple things I had a problem with it, like the love square. The pacing was kind of slow. It took me a while to finish this book. I thought I would fly through it in like 3 days. It took me a couple weeks to finish it because it was just the pacing, and I wasn't really feeling the story overall. I will say, like, when it got to like that much, or maybe even like this much, when it got to like this much left right here, when it like the action picked up and things got interesting real quick. So that, I flew through that because that was just amazing. But the good first chunk of it was just kind of slow, and it took me a little bit to get through. So I gave this book a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I still really enjoyed this series, but I didn't really feel like I loved this book as much as the first one, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. I just want to throw that out there. As far as the ending, so spoilers just for a little bit. So if you haven't read this book, just leave for a couple minutes, and I'll be back to wrap everything up. I just want to talk about the ending really quick. So spoilers ahead. Right now, if you haven't read this book, don't watch any further. I'll let you know. I'll give you a thumbs up when you can watch. Okay. Come on, Kenan. And I'm gonna say Kenan. So Kenan being the Nightbringer. Did I see that coming? No, I did not expect that at all, and I didn't expect that Laia had that amulet that he was craving at, and that's why he was, trying to earn her trust. But I remember very vividly in the kind of end of the book where Elias is talking to Darren, Laia's brother, and he says, what have you been telling her about your sister? And he says, just like he likes her to be super strong, like a bear or something like that. And as soon as he said that, I was like, wait, Kenan said that a while ago. That's really weird. I knew immediately something was up with that. I know I'll probably catch it on really late, but either way, when he was the Nightbringer and that whole thing. So we have this whole war going on with the commandment and her horribleness, and now we got this Nightbringer that's just going to ruin everything. That was an amazing plot twist. I really liked that plot twist. I thought it was great. And the ending, as far as, Elias, he was dying with the whole poison thing, and now he's like the soul catcher, or I believe it. So I don't know what's the deal with that. So he can be actual, like, there in person with talking to people and stuff, but he also has to go back to the forest a lot. I'm not sure about the dynamics between that. If you know, let me know. I'm not quite sure about that, but I'm like, oh, this poor guy, like, he can't catch a break, literally. Now he's like, dead. Is he dead? He's not dead, but he's like, has got ties. So, like, you have to explain that to me, because I didn't really understand the whole gist of, like, his responsibilities for that. Like, can he still, like, be talking to people and having fun with people, and then he's like, gotta go back to work, see you later, or is he like really tied there 100%? So let me know. I'm not sure about that, so please let me know. But I thought the ending, and the ending finally get to meet Darren and Laya. It's like, we took this whole book, we saved this whole thing for this guy, and I don't know, I feel like Laya is a little bit more of an instrument of destruction than everyone else thinks that she is, because she can make herself invisible. So I really feel like the Nightbringer knows more about her than just the amulet, especially because she can disappear and stuff. So I feel like that's going to come into play really soon, that everyone's really concerned about Darren and like his secrets, but I really think we have to really watch out for Laya, because she does some interesting like magic stuff. So I think she's going to be a huge element as further into this series. So those are just the spoilers I want to talk about really quickly. So let me know about the whole soul thing and all that other stuff. So if you haven't read the book, you're okay to watch again. I just want to throw the spoilers out there. So if you have read this book, please let me know what you thought about it. Did you feel like it was a great, amazing sequel, or do you feel like it did subpar, or did you have problems with it like I did? Please let me know, because I would love to have a great discussion on it. And as far as spoilers, people, let me know what you think of the thoughts that I talked about in spoilers, because I would love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
My broken